The Galactic Council chamber fell into stunned silence as Ambassador Jasmine Chen slammed her datapad onto the crystalline table. The sharp crack echoed through the vast dome, causing the assembled delegates from 700 star systems to flinch in their varied forms of seating. "You can't be serious," hissed Councillor Vexter, his mandibles clicking nervously. The insectoid diplomat had represented the Hive Collective for 3 centuries, and never not once had he witnessed such a breach of protocol. Jasmine's dark eyes blazed with fury as she stood, her human frame seeming suddenly larger than her modest height suggested. Beside her, Kevin Morrison, humanity's military liaison, rose as well, his jaw set in a grim line. "Serious?" Jasmine's voice cut through the chamber like a plasma blade. "You're asking if we're serious? After what you just proposed?" The vote had been taken mere moments ago. Resolution 7749C, Mandatory Genetic Compliance Standards. Hidden within the bureaucratic language was a directive that would require all spacefaring species to submit to optimization protocols, essentially forced genetic modifications to make them more suitable for galactic integration. The humans had been the only species to vote against it. 700 to 1, the resolution passed with overwhelming support, droned the council speaker. A being of pure energy contained within a magnetic field. All member species must comply with galactic law. Kevin leaned forward, his knuckles white against the table's edge. "You want to rewrite our DNA because you think we're too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous." He spat the last word. "You're afraid of us, so you want to lobotomize our entire species." "It is for the good of galactic harmony," offered Ambassador Thaloria, her ethereal form shimmering with what might have been sincerity. "Humanity has only been part of the Council for 30 years. You cannot understand the delicate balance we maintain." "Balance?" Jasmine laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Is that what you call it when you force conformity on everyone who doesn't fit your perfect little vision?" She grabbed her datapad in Kevin's arm. "Come on, we're done here, Ambassador Chen. You cannot simply leave during a session. Watch us." The 2 humans strode toward the exit, their footsteps ringing with finality. Behind them, the chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates chittered, buzzed, and transmitted their shock in a dozen different forms of communication. "If you leave this chamber," Vexter called out, his voice taking on a threatening edge, "humanity will be in violation of the Unity Accords. You will be declaring yourselves enemies of the Galactic Council." Jasmine paused at the massive doors, turning back one last time. Kevin stood beside her, his hand already on his communicator, no doubt alerting Earth's fleet enemies. She smiled then, and it was the smile of a predator. "No, Counselor, we're not your enemies. But we're not your victims either. Humanity didn't claw its way out of the evolutionary mud, survive ice ages, plagues, world wars, and near extinction, just to let a committee of cowards edit out what makes us us. You are 1 species against 700, the speaker intoned. You have no allies, no support. What do you think you can possibly do?" Kevin's laugh was sharp and harsh. "That's the thing you never understood about humans. We've always been alone. We've always been the underdog, and we've always been too stubborn to quit." The doors opened with a pneumatic hiss. "Wait." Ambassador Thaloria drifted forward, her luminous form pulsing with urgency. "Please, reconsider. Without the Council's protection, your species will be vulnerable. There are hostile forces in the galaxy, then we'll handle them the same way we handle everything else." Jasmine interrupted. "On our own terms." She and Kevin stepped through the doorway, and the galaxy watched as humanity walked away from everything they'd worked 3 decades to achieve. The news spread across the stars at faster-than-light speeds. Humanity had defied the Galactic Council. Humanity had rejected the Unity Accords. Humanity was alone. In the council chamber, the delegates slowly came to a terrifying realization. But humans hadn't seemed afraid. They hadn't begged or negotiated. They'd simply left. "They'll be back," Vexter insisted, though his voice lacked conviction. "Once they realize the impossibility of survival without council resources." "No," Thaloria whispered, her glow dimming. "They won't. I've studied humanity's history. Do you know what they call themselves when the odds are insurmountable?" The chamber was silent. "They called themselves defiant." 6 months later, the first reports arrived. Human ships had been spotted in the frontier territories' lawless regions the council had deemed too dangerous to patrol. They were trading with independent colonies, recruiting allies among the council's cast-offs and rejected species. 1 year later, humanity announced the formation of the Free Systems Alliance, a coalition of 30 species who'd been marginalized or threatened with optimization protocols. Themselves, 2 years later, when the Krell horde invaded council space, it was humanity's fleet that arrived first, to defend the very species who'd tried to change them. Kevin Morrison commanded the human forces with brilliant tactical precision, while Jasmine Chen negotiated a peace treaty that actually addressed the Krell's grievances. The galaxy learned a hard lesson that day. You don't tell humans who they should be. Because the thing about humanity isn't that they're stronger or smarter, or more advanced than anyone else. It's that when you push them, they don't break. They push back. And in the end, standing in the rebuilt council chamber as the Free Systems Alliance was granted full recognition. Jasmine Chen looked around at the assembled delegates and said simply, "We told you we'd handle it on our own terms." Kevin smiled beside her, adding, "You should have listened." The galaxy had watched in horror as humans bolted from the assembly. Now they watched in awe as humanity changed the galaxy forever, not by changing themselves, but by refusing to. The end.